Hey folks, just wanted to chime in here with a quick announcement. If you find yourself in New York City on Sunday, March 23rd, and you've got nothing to do, you can come see a professional reading of my first full-length play in downtown Manhattan. What? Yeah, I know it's crazy. It's at 2 p.m. at Playwright Horizons downtown at 440 Lafayette Street. I will also be acting in it, so you'll be able to see me. You'll see me acting. You'll hear the writing that I wrote. And we've also got David Bolt I'll be acting alongside, and Dorsey Sprouse directed it. We are really proud of the amount of work that we're putting into it and where the script is. So you can buy tickets. I'll set the link in the description box of this episode where you can go and purchase tickets there. Seats are limited, so I recommend you buy tickets ahead of time. If you like movies like Lost in Translation or Once or Past Lives, this is absolutely the vibe for you. The sad, melancholy, longing, complicated situations, emotional. Come see my show. And we have a Q&A session afterwards, so you can ask questions. You can come up and talk to me if you want to. Totally fine if not either. Whatever your preference is. So again, that is going to be Sunday, March 23rd at 2 p.m. Playwright Horizons downtown, 440 Lafayette Street. Thanks, and enjoy this episode. Hi, I'm Kacey.
And I'm Gianni.
I never finished reading the Animorphs books as a kid, and I still haven't as an adult.
And I've never read them.
We can't tell you where we live.
But we can tell you that we want to revisit these books as adults and dive into what we would keep or change if we were to put it on TV.
Two friends, 50-something books. Welcome to morphinbuddies.
And then the music kicks in, and then people are just so ready.
Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of Morphinbuddies with me, your host, Kacey Cisnowski, and Mr. Gianni DeMaia out of the closet.
Yo, out of the closet.
Back in the city.
Out of the closet. No, I don't want to give anybody the wrong impression. I am still firmly in the closet in a metaphorical sense, but in a literal sense, I am outside of the closet.
Physically, you're outside of the closet now.
Physically, I'm no longer in the Florida closet. I am back at my home in New York, so you can hear my dog clacking her paws if she's walking behind me. She's laying down right now, but don't you worry, guys. She will get up.
She will be clickety,
restless lady.
clackety, drinking up some water.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh, yeah. All the sounds that could possibly disrupt a podcast and make people think, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? That's it.
What that dog doing?
What that dog do?
What that dog do? Since we haven't actually seen each other since before the inauguration happened, on a scale of 1 to meltdown, where is your anxiety?
I kind of always perpetually exist at a state of 9 out of 10.
Slightly anxious, manageable anxiety.
No, I'm dying inside at all given moment. Yeah, no, I feel great about the state of the world, and
no
I
issues
think it's
whatsoever.
So good. Yeah, I think it's so good and so fun and so great. And no, I mean, I don't know. Not to put my political opinions on anybody who's listening to this podcast, but I think you can kind of get a sense of where I think Kacey and I lean on a lot of issues. But I think the hardest part is really just the inherent lack of morality of the person who's currently in place as the president of the United States. That is harder to stomach. That us as a consensus could vote for that, as opposed to just having differing views, and so especially if you don't live in the United States and you're listening to this podcast, just know that we know that it's a lot. But that aside, my personal life is also a nightmare. So
Oh no!
So it's just but at the end of the day, I get things to look forward to. I get to watch Severance every week now, so that's great.
There you go.
I get to do this podcast, so that's great. So there's still things to look forward to. I bought Raisinets. You know, like David Lynch died, and my friend reminded me of a quote from Twin Peaks where he's like, "You have to get yourself a little gift every day, and you never know like what the gift is gonna be." And so I was like, you know what, I should do that. And so I got Raisinets. And those have you ever had Raisinets, man? Those motherfuckers are good.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Let me tell you, dude. You like it. I also, some people don't like raisins. I love raisins. And so I love them covered in chocolate.
Them. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of them. And you know what? If that's what's going to get you through the day, Gianni, you're an inspiration to everyone. Go buy yourself a pack of Raisinets or your favorite candy.
I mean, yeah. I don't know how much stock anyone puts into this, you know, so take it or leave it. But, I mean, I saw a psychic, what was it, 2 years ago, a year ago, something like that? No, I think it was 2 years ago. And the psychic told me that collectively, as a whole, the world would have, like, one of its worst years ever in 2026. But that we would recover. But and she told me that.
Great.
And I was like, I don't know what you want me to do with that information.
Great.
But so, if you put any stock into psychics, just know it will get worse.
Oh, no. Gianni, no.
Keep calm. It's going to get worse. So, as long as you know that, it's going to be fine. And so how are you doing? Are you dying inside?
Well, you know, I'm kind of in the stage of being a bad bitch and not letting any excuses get by me. Where people are like, yeah, but you know, it was a Roman salute. I'm like, no, it wasn't. It absolutely was not. And the people that excuse these behaviors are people that would, if they had children, they will allow their children to throw their shit on the floor, act like a piece of shit, and say, oh, he's just being a kid. No, we can't excuse this behavior and let them get away with it. We gotta put the kibosh on the lid. You know what I'm saying?
I love a good kibosh. Yeah, I do love a good kibosh.
So, you know, I'm not excusing any behavior. I'm trying to stay as educated and informed as I possibly can. And take no shit. That's my advice. Take no shit, fight back, punch all Nazis. So I'm just doing the best that I can with what I got. Thumbs up.
Love it. Love it.
That's where we're at. So, not to completely open politically. Sorry if no one's interested in that.
Have you met David in the Animorphs?
Yeah, speaking of Nazis, David. Well, actually, we did get another email from our buddy Ryan.
Our
good old buddy Ryan. This boy teaching us some knowledge, Gianni. Okay,
I love it. I love this guy.
So Ryan said he subjects the email Book 18 and dinosaurs. So well, first off, he said he having the Animorphs get sucked into Z-space was important in terms of showing how morphing works. A couple of years ago, he wrote a post on Reddit about why morphing might have a 2-hour limit, and getting sucked into Z-space provided a crucial piece of evidence. He said, here's the long, nerdy post. Ryan, I love you. I didn't want to click on it because I'm afraid of spoilers. So I didn't click on it yet.
Oh, yeah.
I think I started reading it a little bit, and then I was like, oh, and then I stopped. I didn't read anything. Nothing got revealed to me, but I felt like there was going to be evidence in further books. Yeah, it was going a direction. Yeah, so okay. I said...
Yeah. So Ryan, when you hear this...
Yes.
Write us back if there's the TLDR if there are spoilers
TLDR,
in it.
Yes.
Or you can write us back and say there's no spoilers in it. Don't worry.
Thank you. And also Ryan said on to dinosaurs, because he's not a paleontologist professionally, but again he is a biochemist.
Not with that
attitude. Into all things
not.
Bio. Not with that attitude. So he says he regularly reads paleontologist books and listens to podcasts so he can answer questions that we have. First off, did the T-Rex have feathers/wings? Great question. First off, he's going to say that birds are dinosaurs. They're not just closely related to dinosaurs, they are dinosaurs. So dinosaurs didn't all go extinct. We still have birds. This means that technically birds are also reptiles. Other dinosaurs that are closely related to birds had feathers too, like velociraptors. They probably couldn't fly, but they might have been able to use those wings for a jump assist. And then he said,
like
but
chickens.
you asked... No, Gianni. He said, but you asked specifically about T-Rex. While we don't have any fossil evidence of T-Rex specifically having feathers because they don't usually fossilize. I didn't know that. I thought they did. My bad.
No clue.
But there are some incredible fossil sites in China that preserve feathers, which is how we know how some non-bird dinosaurs had feathers. And one of the dinosaurs preserved there is a very close relative of the T-Rex called the Eutyrannus. Eutyrannus definitely had feathers, and being so closely related to T-Rex, it's likely T-Rex also had feathers at least at some point in its lifespan. It did not have wings, just those dinky arms.
All right, we think.
Most likely, any feathers that it had were either for display or for insulation. So, and then he said, number 2, does having wings mean a bird or other dinosaur can fly? No, there's lots of birds with feathered wings that can't fly: penguins, kiwis, ostriches, emus, cassowaries, etc. And
chickens.
And then, no, not chickens. And right here specifically, tiny print. Chickens can fly, Gianni, you big, dumb idiot on the world.
He did not say that. My friend Ryan would not say that.
Ryan, you gotta write that in an email, just for us.
No, Ryan. Don't listen to her.
Ryan, don't listen to him. Ryan, don't listen to him. He's a liar. Ryan, he's a meanie. Chickens do fly.
Ryan, be on my side.
Ryan, I'm the one that reads the emails, not him, so you're on my side. And then the 2 dinosaurs that we talked about that we wanted to see in the book, he said, what's the dinosaur with the domed head? That one has a fun name. Oh, okay.
Oh,
no, I think I got this. Pachycephalosaurus, which literally means thick-headed lizard. That's the one that looks like it has a helmet with the spikes on the side.
Sounds right to me.
And the dinosaur with the boomerang-shaped thing on its head.
Oh, yeah, that guy rocks.
He said, I think that dinosaur you're talking about is the Parasaurolophus. Thanks for letting me geek out. The end.
Hell yeah,
Thank you,
dude.
Ryan.
Oh, my God. Geek out forever, man. That's so fun.
Geek out forever. I love geeks.
I was listening to our bonus episode that you did such a lovely job with.
Oh, and, God, that was...
It was a phenomenal reminder of some bits that I just completely forgot and forgot the origin of. Because truth be told, I still think of him as Thom, but I totally forgot where that came from.
Yeah.
So that was really funny. But what I also forgot was there was a point in this, like, I guess earlier in the series, I don't even know when it came up, where I was like, man, I really hope, like, book 40, we get dinosaurs or whatever. We got those bitches already, dude. We're like cooking with gas, dude. We're cooking with absolute gas. But yeah, that was a fun little episode that you put together. Bravo, that was really
that was a real labor of love. That was a real labor of love. It wasn't edited fantastically. It definitely was not 100%, but I was trying to get it out right around the new year, and the longer it got, I was like, I gotta get this out. I just gotta get this out. So if anybody complains about the editing, sorry. I just wanted to make something nice and get it out right at the new year.
Sweet.
Thank you, Gianni.
It was very sweet, very lovely. Loved your little message at the beginning. Thought it was so nice.
Yeah. And it's got some of our favorite little bits. So if you want to introduce anyone to our podcast, send them the compilation episode so they get like an idea of like the things we joke about and talk about and our cadences and our big brains.
It really was like a previously on, but just for our bits. Like it was not. It was like if you want to know what's happening with the Animorphs, like skip that episode. But if you want to know what's happening with the Morphinbuddies, definitely
that
episode.
Get in there
that catches
for
you
our
up
lore.
On all.
Yeah, that's our lore story. So Today we're talking about book 21, The Threat. This is where Jake is turning into the golden retriever on the front of the cover. Gianni, how did you feel about The Threat? Because I finished this book on Tuesday, and today is Friday, and I've been dying to talk to you about this.
Yeah, I finished it last night, and I sent you.
Wait, can you read the text? Yeah, send me. Can you read those texts?
I'll read it to you. And so for context, some of this is capitalized. When it's capitalized, when it's in all caps, I will emphasize with my voice. So this is what I wrote to Kacey. My first text message. I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" and then I wrote, "What in the fuck, man?"
And I read those. I woke up early this morning and I looked at my phone and I read those and I was like, dude, yes, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah. What the shit, dude?
Hell yeah.
What I will say, I don't know how you feel. Me personally, The Threat was, I thought, excellent. I thought one of the best books in the series.
Agreed.
In my personal opinion. I think that it's kind of, I don't know how many books this arc is going to go, this like David thing, because everybody knows from the last episode, my opinions about cliffhangers, and I'm not really a huge fan of them, and I'm still not a huge fan of them, and I think it's probably the worst aspect of this book, apart with one other thing, which I'll talk about in a second, but, by and large, this feels, if it is going to be like a 3-book arc here, this is definitely like the Empire Strikes Back moment. This is like all hope is lost, kind of, and we're falling apart. We've lost, at least in what this overarching plot seems to be. It definitely feels like the villains have the upper hand, and there's some pretty traumatic things that happen at the very last pages of this book, which we'll get into when we get into the actual plot itself. So this was just really very rewarding on a number of different levels. I also think, and this does not change my opinions about Jake overall, but this is easily the best Jake book.
Yes.
This is the best Jake has been in a book. Period. Yep. I don't even think it's close. Yeah. I think that
he's making decisions, Gianni.
He's making decisions. He's doing it on the fly. He's put into positions where he has to, put trust in certain people in certain moments where he doesn't necessarily think it's a good idea, or and watching him have to improvise his way through these increasingly exacerbated circumstances is just absolutely fascinating. If Jake was like this all the time, this would be a great character. Unfortunately, we all know that once David is gone, and make no mistake, that motherfucker will be gone. But once David is gone, Jake is going to go back to his shitty old ways. But this Jake, love this Jake. The only other thing I didn't really love about this book is that there are... it becomes a point towards the last third where we have a science fiction thing, which we've seen before, like this hologram element. We've seen holograms before. We have not seen it to nearly this extent, where it almost becomes like Looney Tunes
convoluted, yeah.
Just like, what are we talking about? They even go, they do hologram inception at a certain point. You're like, what is, we didn't need all this. We could have cut this down. And I just think it gets way too convoluted in how that is being depicted. And also not really for a purpose. I think Visser 3's plan is kind of a way more convoluted than it needs to be. I think you get the pigs in a barrel, you shoot into the barrel.
Yeah.
We don't need this elaborate pump and frill.
We don't need a ruse. Show. We don't need a ruse.
Unnecessary. Just ridiculous. But all that aside, this was easily one of the best books in the series. I have it in my rankings now at number 2 or 3. I'll double check. I'll double check. I have it at 3 right now. I might move it up to 2 because it might be above the Predator for me. I can't in good conscience ever put something above the Reaction until something gives me that much joy.
It's got to really slap. It's got to really slap.
But this is easily like one of the best in the series. This is a really, really, really good entry. What did you think?
I love this. This book, I couldn't put it down. I was so excited to read it. Every time I had to pause, I was like, I want to get back to it. You know, David is a psychopath, an absolute psychopath, and the way
freak, huh?
Yeah, a little freaky guy. And the way that he talks, especially to Jake in this book, is chilling. Like, he sounds like an actual fucking serial killer, and he scared me, like legitimately, like gave me goosebumps when he would talk to Jake and put these vague threats in, or sometimes outright threats, you know?
Yeah.
And there was one section in the book where he was talking to Jake that I found particularly just like really great. And I actually, it was like him talking to Jake. It was like 3 pages of dialogue between the two of them. And so I copied the pieces of dialogue and I put them in like a Google Doc in my drive. And then I just shortened it and made a monologue out of it. So like,
wow,
as an audition piece now, I might just use it as a monologue.
Wait, I love that. You should put it on like Reddit or something for Animorph aspiring actors. Maybe there's some overlap in those communities.
Let me find it. Let me pull it up. I think it's only, I wanted to try to keep it less than 2 minutes, because anything more than that, it's a little too long. Okay, well, let me just read this. Yeah, do you want me to perform it?
Yeah, perform it.
Okay. Sorry about Tobias. He was following me, trying to stop me. He's dead, in case you were wondering. Definitely dead. And now I ask you, Jake, what choice do I have? They know me. My parents would turn me in, and you? You made it clear the other night when I checked into the hotel, right? What was it you said? If you go around using your powers however you want, we can't have you around. You're a danger to us. You think I don't know you were threatening me, Jake? I'm not spending the rest of my life taking orders from you or anyone else in your little group. You're like this clique, and you get to push me around. I don't think so. I have this power now. I'm going to use it. They will never find me. And using my powers, I can take anything I want. Anything. I can be a billionaire if I want. And if they don't come after me, I know your group will. But already, there used to be 6 of you, and now there are just 5. Pretty soon, Jake, it'll be 4.
Hell
and
yeah.
And scene.
Snaps all around.
Hell yeah.
Wow, look at that.
That is a fun monologue, baby. And
that's cool.
And I made it
you're a little evil.
Ooh, and I made it just like vague enough so that like it wouldn't be like, if someone remembers Animorphs, they're gonna be like, is that from Animorphs? Like, I didn't want that association with it, but it's a good little chunk there, and that's fun.
It's definitely interesting enough that I think you're immediately getting a follow-up question like, wow, what is that from?
Yeah, and I'll be like, Animorphs. So
I actually read.
You ever read? You ever read books?
You ever opened one of those?
So I wrote that, and that's a really fun little piece that I had a lot of fun putting together. And it's just, David is absolutely terrifying, and to see him embrace these powers and just be like, I can do whatever I want, is so scary. And I like that our group, they're all finally like, he's a piece of shit. And at some point in this book, Jake is like, hey guys, shh, everybody just pretend to like him.
Lock it up.
Don't say anything bad to him.
This guy's a little freak. So we gotta keep this on the hush hush. I will say also, because I know I talk about this now more times than is altogether necessary, but I have been doing every time, and I can never say his first name right, I don't think, but MacLeod or MacLeod Andrews, the guy who reads the audiobooks. I do his every time he's a reader, and he was a reader for this book. and the guy delivers, dude. His
Hell
David
yeah,
voice
dude.
is fucking crazy chilling, dude. It's very, very good.
Fantastic.
He is locked in, man. Love it. Absolutely love
McLeod,
it. Couldn't
we love
recommend it
you.
enough if you like audiobooks.
Hell yeah. So yeah, I absolutely love this book. I thought it was very exciting. It's still not as good as the reaction, but that's okay. It's still
Nothing will ever be.
just yeah, it's hard to surpass that. So for me, yeah, I agree. It's just under that. I feel like this was just, I did have a problem. Yeah, same thing with like the whole convoluted force field thing at the end. I was like, wait, what? And I was almost having trouble following it. And I was like, whatever,
Yeah.
just skip this part, get to the battle, you know?
Yeah.
So I just kind of like threw that off to the side. And yes, it does end on a cliffhanger this time, but this is like super exciting because it's kind of like, you know, what's gonna happen?
This
it's
cliffhanger at
perilous.
least ends in a way that I think it kind of like justifies itself more than the previous book's cliffhanger, which I think was really just we're just sort of cheaply cutting a story in half.
Yeah.
This does feel like a complete story in a sense. It's obviously a fragment of a larger story, but there is a full, I think, arc and conclusion with where this kind of leaves off, and the way it justifies itself plot wise with why it kind of cuts off at
Yes.
the point that it does. I think is earned more. So even though I'm still not a fan of the whole cliffhanger thing, it's infinitely
This one made sense.
infinitely more palatable. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So should we dive into the threat?
Yeah, let's
Hell
do
yeah.
because I want to talk about it.
Yeah, me too. And there was a threat. So yes.
There was actually a threat. I
Yes.
still think they pulled it out of a hat, and I still think that Applegate was like, "Oh, sweet, there's a threat in this. Yeah, of course, this is a great.
Yeah, there's a
title."
threat here.
Happy accidents, you know. But so this picks up immediately where we left off in the previous entry, where we're falling from that
Helicopter.
not plane. Thank you, helicopter. Yeah,
There you
I
go.
don't know why I'm playing on the word helicopter. I was like, it's not a plane, but it's in the air.
It's got two
my God.
propellers.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, it picks up. They're falling as cockroaches. There's a moment where they're kind of in panic and trying to communicate with each other, piece together. Should they morph? You know, should they change? Whatever. They stay the course. They decide to stay the course because I think it's Cassie, but someone has information or thinks that they recall that, you know, cockroaches can survive like very long falls or something to that effect. So they survive. They land on the beach, and they immediately start to put together a plan. They're like, we got to get moving because now we're in a crucible. We got a time crunch. We got to get moving. We know that things are happening. The president is maybe in peril, and there's other world leaders who also could be Yerks, who also could be infiltrated. There's too much. It's chaos. Okay, it's chaos all at once, and I'm moving my hands a lot because I'm trying to emphasize the chaos. And there's a ton of chaos, and so
I feel the chaos.
They decide. Yeah, thank you. They decide to they get Tobias because they're like, Tobias, we need Seagull so that we can Seagull morph. And David's like, I don't have a Seagull morph. And Tobias is like, oh, I can catch a Seagull for you or whatever.
Yeah.
They say this crazy line that I don't want to brush over because at a certain point Tobias just kind of like lets it rip a little bit that he's like, yeah, seagulls are like, I don't know, he says something disparaging about seagulls or whatever. And
Rats with wings.
And there was a fucking line that David has where he's like, he's like a racist, but with birds.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with
like,
this?
shut up, David.
Weirdo.
You psycho.
What a weirdo, dude. But so then Tobias gets a seagull, brings back. They take the seagull morph. They go. They're trying to infiltrate the Marriott. How could I forget the hotel? They try to infiltrate the Marriott, and there's this guy with sunglasses, and he keeps looking at him. And then Jake is all of a sudden in pain. He's like, "What the hell's going on?" And then Axe is in pain. They're like, "What the fuck is this?" And so then they figure out pretty quickly because Axe pieces together, and and if you have this technology, why are we not using this shit all the time? But Axe pieces together that they put a fucking Dracon beam in this guy's glasses, and he's just trying to like disperse any and all animals so they have no threat of Andalites.
So he's like shocking
Which
them,
is
essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, which is a great plan or whatever, but they're like, we have to play it cool and still, you know,
Be
pretend to be
birds,
seagulls.
yeah.
So then everybody's just getting shot at a. I didn't forget this either. At a certain point, David gets shot, and he says this fucking banger of a line. He goes, "That was a major ouchie." Weirdo.
Ew.
I hate that.
Ew.
You're gross.
Ew.
Get out of here.
You know what?
Dude.
You know what? I went to high school with a guy who he was very nice and very quiet, and at some point he asked girls in the class. He was like, "I like your hair. Can I have some? I'm making a sweater." And everyone was like, "No, you can't.
You can have
You freak.
this bullet."
You This is pure David energy."
Yeah, no,
this
you're
is
right,
this is
though.
what I'm talking about.
No, he's like a school
Weirdo.
shooter. He's a little freak. Absolute weirdo. But so they have to disperse. They're like, we'll figure this out later. Jake gets home and his parents are very serious all of a sudden. And they're like, you need to sit down. Immediately Jake's like, is it Thom? And then Thom comes in and Thom's like, what happened? Who died? And
Who
then
died?
his parents are like, well, your cousin Sadler got hit by a car. First, now there's a lot of thoughts that go into this. One, who the fuck is Sadler? Two, who names their kids Sadler?
I don't know.
What is this? So then Jake basically like puts a banner over the whole thing where he's like, yeah, I never really was very close to Sadler, kind of an annoying fucking cousin. I kind of feel bad that my first thought isn't, oh gosh, I hope Sadler's okay. My first thought is just more so about like, oh, my parents are going to be out of the house.
Yeah. Well, then they
his
said
parents are
after
going to go to the hospital and watch after the cousin or something?
Yeah, they're gonna like help with the family there, but then after that, after they come back home, their family is also coming to stay in Jake's home also.
Right. I forgot
So
that point of
it's going to be
order.
a full house for a few days.
Right. But that never happens in this book, right?
No, we never see any
I
of that.
guess
So
the
I don't
payoff
know
of that
why.
is going to come later. But
Maybe in the next book. But then Jake gets a phone call from Cassie, and Cassie's like,
this was fucking covert ops shit. I was
hell
impressed
yeah.
by this. I was like, wow, guys, you were smart. This is good.
Cassie was like, hey, Jake, wanna make out? And Jake's like,
No,
I
I
don't
wish.
know,
I
maybe.
wish.
And then she was like, I wish that, normally we'd make out at the barn, but the barn is currently empty right now, and we don't know where it is. And Jake is like, that sounds like David, who's living in Cassie's barn, is missing, and Cassie's talking to me in code, and we're not gonna make out. I'm on my way.
I wish it was about making out, but it was about watching David Letterman, which sucks.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. Yeah, it's like a
She
code
killed it, though.
thing, and Jake pieces it together, and they immediately rush over to the barn. Jake then turns into the dog to sniff out where he went. He's able to track him down. He thinks he morphed into a lion at some point.
Yeah.
And then he morphed into something else. He morphed into like an eagle or something. And then tracks him to this motel. So Jake comes in after hearing, the TV behind the door. He's like, David, it's me. Like, let me in. David lets him in sort of begrudgingly. They have a pretty tense conversation where Jake is already a bit off-put by David from, the last 24 to 48 hours or however long it's been.
Yeah, and he can also see that David broke in the hotel window and is in the hotel room. So the people at the hotel don't even know he's there. He just broke in through the window and took the room for himself, which is, don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do
and
that.
Jake is like Jake is trying to instill in him some sense of morality. He's doing it far nicer than he does to any of his other friends, but that's not
True. He didn't scream at him, but okay.
But he pretty much outright says at a certain point in this in this scene, that there, it's not rules that you have to follow, but there's a way it is. There's a way that we operate. We have to trust each other. We have to know we can trust you. If we can't operate by these rules, then maybe you're, not going to be one of us. And David is like, is that a threat? And Jake's like, no, it's not a threat. That's just the situation that we're in. We're just
that's
kind of
just how we
forced to do
operate.
this thing. And they kind of part with some semblance of an understanding, but it seems clear that there's some distance between the moral objectives of these two characters, right? But Jake lets him off the hook, which is obviously a mistake. But what I like about this book in particular is that I think that the mistakes and the decisions that Jake and other characters make, I think actually you could follow the logic for how they get to those conclusions. Like, what else is there to do? I'm not threatening the guy. I'm not going to, what, am I going to lock him up? Of course I have to kind of, like, let him off the hook. We can't just jump right to, murdering him right here to spare us the rest of the plot of the novel. But they then, I believe the next day or sometime thereafter, Cassie says... No, actually, while Jake is in Dogmorph, Cassie had mentioned that she has a plan. When Jake comes back from this interaction, Cassie sort of unveils the plan. The plan is that she has a dragonfly. Dragonflies are very fast, so they'll be able to cover the distance, because part of their worry was if they were some other bug that was undetected, they would get lost, or they wouldn't be able to cover the actual distance to infiltrate into the Marriott.
And they wouldn't be able to see very well.
Exactly.
And dragonflies can see pretty well.
Yeah, big ol' eyes. And so then the other people, kind of raise, some semblance of objections, like we can't all be dragonflies or something to that effect. And Cassie's like, well, what we can do is everybody else can morph fleas, and we can get on the dragonflies' back.
Hell yeah.
So then everybody's like, okay, that sounds awful, but I guess we'll do it. They draw straws to see who's the dragonfly. Of course, Jake's the dragonfly. He morphs. Everybody's really mean to him about this morph for some reason when he's morphing, and everyone's like, oh, God, no.
Yeah. Well,
not that.
Well, I think the first thing they say that morphs are his eyes. And his eyes get huge and, like, pop out of his head. Which, imagine your human eyes popping out of your head, and now they're bigger than the size of your head. That's gross, Gianni.
Yeah.
And I will sing that.
That's what happens
into
to my
the hills.
eyes every time I see the Nicole Kidman ad at AMC.
Oh,
Come
no.
to this place for magic, and I go,
What a great ad. I love how everyone, like, kind of makes fun of that ad.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
It's fantastic.
I clap in the theater when it comes on.
Oh,
that's
oh my God!
My
on the flight,
testament to society.
The flight home from Iceland back to New York. When the flight landed, people clapped, and I was just like, "Stop! Stop! 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 Who's clapping? Stop!"
Yeah,
I hate it.
It's awkward.
It's always white people, Gianni.
Awkward.
It's always white people. Stop clapping.
The what?
Stop clapping.
That's our culture.
It's not my culture. Don't let me in with them. We're not a monolith.
Culture. No, we have to do that. We have to also, every time there's a bag of chips open, we have to go, get these away from me.
Oh, somebody, please. I can't just have one. The bag was right. So anyway.
Oh man, I also do I'll do catch you later sometimes.
Hell
a little
yeah.
finger point. That's all.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh,
fantastic.
Man, there's so many.
We're so cringe.
We got some bangers.
We're so cringe as a culture. Love us for that, dude. So Jake goes dragonfly, and he decides he's flying around with his flea friends on his back. And he flies under a bellhop's hat. He had the little fez that he lifted up and was like, met him.
Yeah, I don't.
And
I didn't buy this
and
one.
then,
I didn't buy this at all. They're like, dragonflies can hover. You just have to hover between the inner workings of the hat and the head.
Yeah,
I was like, no, okay.
Honestly,
you can feel a flapping around in your fucking hat.
Exactly. I feel like I mean, sometimes we can't feel flies that land on our heads. Like sometimes a fly will land on your head in the summertime. You don't feel it. I think it could be the same for the dragonfly. Just land, just chill. Also, the bellhop
just land on his back. Yeah,
the
whatever.
bellhop is horny as fuck. So, like, he's like, I was like, dude, chill, chill out. I was like,
just like asking every guest about like, oh, have you met this person?
yes. She's very cute. And I was like, there's children on your head right now. You don't understand. So then the hat comes off again as he bids the ladies, m'ladies, and Jake flies off his head into an air duct, and he's flying through the air duct trying to get through quick because morphin time is coming up to the very end, and we still don't know where this room is.
Yep.
And Jake gets caught in a spider web. Uh-oh. And there's a big old Spidey is coming down, and then Jake's like,
not
yep,
great.
Jake's like, everybody hang on, I'm gonna try to demorph. And they're like, you're gonna what? And then he tries to demorph, and he demorphs enough to where he breaks the spider web with his weight, and then he morphs back to Dragonfly, and they get out, and they all are able to morph back, barely in time. And I love this moment at the end here. Marco almost isn't able to get out of his flea morph. He's like just a giant, like dog-sized flea, and he's freaking out to everybody, saying he can't morph back. Cassie helps guide him and says, think of your human self, just calm down, you can do it. Marco gets out of it, and then he cries. And he hugs Cassie.
Yeah, and he hugs her. He says, thank you for saving me.
And I was just like, oh my God, yes, thank you. This is such a lovely little moment. Marco.
Come such a long way.
Marco, our boy, we love you. And you're okay. You're okay,
Yeah.
buddy. So I really like that moment. I thought that was a very nice, sweet, little vulnerable moment. And I thought it worked really well in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they're looking around this banquet hall. They notice all these pillars. They kind of piece together that the pillars are holograms, and
this is
where I start to get a little bit lost in the sauce.
Yeah, same.
But essentially, they theorize that the plan that District 3 is putting into place is to have holograms in lieu of the world leaders, and then while they're doing the holograms, then they infest the world leaders. And so that's kind of what they think they piece together. There is a certain moment where a bunch of like controllers come in, and at some point everybody's hiding, but they're also in morphs, or David turns into his lion morph.
Oh yeah.
And he's about to attack the controllers and blow their cover. There's also, I forgot to mention this, but there's a little mini Yerk pool in this area at some point.
By where the hologram is. So they're going to have, when the heads of the states, countries, whatever, when they stand up to go speak at the podium, they're going to pass behind the pillar. Then the controllers hiding in the hologram of the pillar are going to grab the leader. Then they're going to make a hologram of the leader going up to the podium, speaking, and then coming back. And then when the hologram passes the pillar, then they're going to throw the actual leader out, who now has a Yerk in his head. That's how they're going to do this whole complicated thing. Cool. All right. Fine. They find out that, let me see, Tony is chief of protocol and clearly a controller. Okay, well, Tony is chief of protocol and clearly a controller. I don't remember when else he's mentioned in the book, but I thought it was important to write down. What's up, Tony? They know he's a controller. Jake decides, after this group of people leaves first, Jake is like, okay, we should all leave. And David pulls the fire alarm. And then he trips like a bitch, and Jake stays behind. And Jake is like, everybody else, get out of here. I'm going to stay here with David and make sure he gets out. And then,
How nice of you.
Yeah, and then they hide in the room again. That's when David starts morphing lion, and Jake is like, no, stop. We're not attacking. They're just coming in to check the room. They don't know we're here. And the controllers are like, if there were Andalites here, they would have destroyed the Yerk pool. So let's check the Yerk pool. And they check it. The Yerk pool
I have
is
a fan
fine.
theory that Kay Applegate wrote this moment just to prove to me specifically that Jake is capable of making good decisions, because he makes the decision to not destroy the Yerk pool.
Yeah.
And then immediately they're like, if an Andalite were here, they would have destroyed the Yerk pool. And Kay Applegate was like, I gotta write this in, otherwise Gianni's gonna hate Jake again.
She knew, Gianni. She knew. She could see the future. So Dave starts. Well, also, I want to say this must have been a really big table that they were hiding under, because lions are huge. I have been face to face with lions. I know how large they are. They're massive. Listen,
size of animals in this book kind of
doesn't really matter.
Like dragonflies are this big, I guess. So they could fit under a hat and no one would notice.
But
whatever.
Then the controllers leave. There's no fight, and Jake's like, "See, David, we didn't have to do battle morphs. They went away and they left us alone." And then David's like, "Do you ever think about who would win in a fight, like a lion or a tiger? I think it's a lion. It's probably never going to happen, but it's interesting to think about."
Yeah, which is a very weird thing to say.
So passive aggressive.
Everything that we have been doing.
Stop being passive aggressive. Just say what you're saying. You want to fight Jake. That's all you have to say.
Yeah.
That's all you have to say.
And Jake should have been like, "Hey, I'll fucking kill you." But instead, Jake's like, "That's strange."
Yeah, Jake's like, yeah, weird, huh? He's a child. He's trying to make nice, whatever. So then the gang meets up later, and they realize that because he's an egomaniac, Visser 3, Idris Elba, wants to be the one to put all the plans into place, and he wants to be the one securing the White House so that he can win, and not the actual president of the United States. Then I put, David has a weird look in his eyes. I think he was side-eyeing weird looks, like, interesting,
Was this or maybe this happens later, but was this the moment where Jake is like, "Oh, by the way, my cousin's in the hospital," and then everybody's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," and then Jake specifically mentions that David is kind of like, almost like, looks like he's mockingly sorry? Was that this moment?
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think that is this moment.
I just remember that like sticking out and being like, "Oh, that's unnerving."
Yeah.
Like just like looking at somebody and knowing that they're just putting on a show of remorse is
a human mask.
Freaky.
Yeah, terrible. And then so they all meet. Jake tells them that, and then Jake talks to Cassie alone about David, and he's just like, "Cassie, do you think this guy's weird?" And Cassie's like, "I fucking hate him. I don't like him at all. I think we should set him on fire." And Jake's like, I'll take that into consideration. And like walks off.
It's not far off from how the conversation
It's really
not
far off from this is not far off from the actual conversation. So they decide that they're going to try to save the leaders and expose the Yerks at the same time. So what they're going to do, they're going to hide in this hologrammed pillar, all squished together. And when the world leaders come in, they're going to grab the world leader
Kacey,
first and be like,
back to this is the part where we were disconnected.
Oh no. Are you here? Are you here? Do you see me? No.
This section of audio when you edit it.
No.
For
no,
I
not
cannot
again.
Hear you, and you cannot
No,
hear me,
Gianni.
And I am staring
Gianni,
at
come
your
back.
frozen face.
No, I'm here. I'm moving. Gianni, can you hear me? Oh, there he is.
I'm catching like every other word. And I think
I
think that you're panicking. Oh, there you go.
A little bit. There we go. There, you got me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you back.
Okay, good. Whew. Yeah, Milo was concerned. Look at the concern on his face.
Oh, no, sweet boy.
Sweet boy.
It's okay.
Sweet boy.
It's okay, I'm back.
So, the plan is they're going to hide in this hologram pillar. And as the world leaders are going to come by, they're going to grab the world leaders because they're going to knock out the controllers that are supposed to be there. They're going to grab the world leaders and be like, "Hey, the Yerks are here. Look out." And then they're going to show them the Yerk pool and be like, "That's an alien species." And then they're going to try to expose it to all the world leaders. And they say, "But you have to be quiet and pretend to be a controller." And they're like, cool.
10 out of 10 plan.
Nothing could...
What could go wrong?
Yeah, nothing can go... Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because Jake is, as we've said before, a leader. And he's the leader, and he is our leader. And we love him in this book, Gianni.
Don't push your luck.
So then the next day, they're like, okay, today's the day of the big dinner where they're going to make everybody into controllers. Also, remember, one of them is already a controller, but we don't know which one.
Yeah.
So it's a fun guessing game. So they morph birds, and they... I wrote in my notes, they morph birds and carry various objects. Marco is a cobra. They're all carrying like... Yeah. They're all carrying like rocks and like heavy things to like what was it? They
to
were
knock
weighing...
out the guards, right? They were like
to knock out the guards. Knock them on the guards' heads, which they do. Great. They knock out the controllers guarding the pool, and then Marco venoms them as the cobra just enough to keep them knocked out. Which I don't know. Don't think that's how venom works. I think venom works more like poison.
It kind of gives me that. I don't know if you know this, but there's like a college humor bit with like one of the Batman. It's like when they're doing like a Batman skit.
Oh yeah,
and, one of the bits is that he's like completely unaware that he's actually murdering people.
Oh no!
He like actually like just kills people. He's like, no, they're all sleeping. This is a dream. It's like they're all like very clearly dead. So
I love that.
It's very funny, but that gave me the same vibe as this Marco venoming thing. Where Marco's like, don't worry, I venomed them only enough that they're
just
asleep.
Enough. I'm like, can we do something different? Can we just leave them knocked out and drag them into like a bathroom stall and leave them locked in there? You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, but considering, I guess the history of what happens in bathroom stalls in this series, they would be found very quickly, I guess, because how dare anyone take any amount of time in a bathroom stall in this world?
Yeah, don't be a fool.
Yeah, that's right. So then they take the controllers they take the DNA from the controllers and they morph the controllers and then they wait. And then they're like, something fishy is going on here. And then bum. What is it, Gianni?
A bunch of absolute like Wile E. Coyote antics happen because Visser 3 is like, and this is actually a hologram, and also so is this, and like the audience is a hologram and the people are a hologram and everybody's morphed out into like their battle morphs or whatever, and somehow Visser 3 didn't see them morph into their human bodies before they morphed into their battle morphs, whatever. I don't know how that... But again, who cares? Holograms.
Who cares? Holograms.
And so Then there's a bunch of like controllers and Hork-Bajir all around, and they have them dead to rights, and they're like, surrender now. And then David's like, wait, don't take me, because Visser 3 is like, I know one of you is a human.
And Cassie bites
like,
him.
I am the human. And then Cassie, you're right, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Cassie's like, shut up,
they,
man.
Tussle.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then David runs to Visser 3. He's like, I don't care about these losers. Get me out of here. And then, as he's defecting, Jake pieces together that... and I hate the way they say it, too, because Jake is basically like, if there's a hologram within a hologram, then why can't there be a hologram within a hologram within a hologram? And I was reading, and I was like, what are you talking about?
Big brain time. Brain time.
Basically, he deduces that the Hork-Bajir are also holograms. He has Marco go up and like try to bite one. He bites right through it, and he's like, I bit right through the guy. And then Jake's like, quick, let's attack. And then David's like, oh, hang on now. I'm actually really close to the Visser 3. I could just attack him right now. And Jake's like, okay, you are going to defect from us, but go for it, man.
Sure.
So chaos breaks out, and they all fight.
Axe puts his blade against the Visser's throat. And I'm like, get him, Axe, get him.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, do it, coward. But he doesn't.
And then they're about to do something, but then they hear that humans are coming and they have to stop fighting because I thought they wanted to expose the secret, but apparently they don't. So
who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Who cares? But they hide behind a hologram and they narrowly get away or whatever.
Yeah, they get away, and the whole gang is pissed at David because the little stunt he pulled of like, this, sir, can you please, putting his index fingers together, can you please help me? I'm a human. And everyone's pissed at him. David's a little shit. And Jake's like, everybody, speaking to everybody except for David, he's like, don't give David shit. All right, we're going to play the game for now. And we're going to pretend like he did a great job. As much as he doesn't deserve it, we got to keep it cool right now because we all know something's wrong with this guy. And they're like, fine. And then they're like, yeah, David, you did so well. And David's like, yeah, I did do well, didn't I? I was probably the best.
Thanks, guys. Pat myself on the back for this one. What a loser. Yeah, so
Fucking
then they're
loser.
like, okay, well, we're all going home. Good job today, everybody. And then Jake's like, Tobias, Axe, watch the barn. He's gonna do something. He's gonna try to get in contact with the Visser or something, I'm sure. And then at some point late in the night, David leaves the barn in his little eagle morph, and then Jake's like, Tobias, follow him, and they
all morph birds, and they go to David's.
Oh yeah.
They go to David's old
I
house.
lost that in my notes.
Oh
but
no.
Yes, they go to David's old house.
But Jake's like, I can't see Tobias anywhere. He's like, it didn't take me that long to start following after Tobias, but I don't see Tobias anywhere. So I'm a little worried. And then he looks and he sees through the window, he sees David as an eagle just hanging out on his bed. And then he sees Tobias as a bloody mess on the bed, not moving. And he's like, okay, maybe he's unconscious. Like, I gotta save him. And Jake is like, Tobias. He's like, David, what did you do? David's like, oh yeah, I killed Tobias. He's dead. So, fuck off.
And he does basically your monologue with some interjections from Jake.
Yeah.
But they start fighting, and Jake then kind of gets the upper hand, and some of the other Animorphs are coming, and David flees. And then Jake is chasing after him.
Jake attacks his face.
Kind of going,
he scrapes up his face real bad.
Yeah, he claws the shit out of him.
Hell yeah.
And Jake also at some point mentions in the midst of this fight that he's like, I am legitimately trying to kill this man. Like, retribution.
Jake's like, I'm done with this shit. We're not doing this anymore.
Yeah. That was sick as hell for me.
Yeah, same.
But then at some point, Hork-Bajir come into the situation. That kind of lost me at a certain point. I was like, what's going on?
Well, it's because they're watching David's house because they know David is the human with the cube. And so they're watching to see if he comes back. So because they saw he came back, now the force is coming in with the Hork-Bajir. And so Jake and David jump out the window. And David tries to morph again, and Axe comes in to save Jake, essentially. I think they're about to fight again, and Jake is I think he's in the pool, and Axe comes in. Yeah, at some point. Lifts him out of the pool, and then jumps backwards over the pool, which Jake was like, I didn't know you could do that.
Jake's like, go get Rachel.
Yeah.
We might have to kill David.
Yeah.
And then he goes in hot pursuit of David. There's a certain point where David is like, you're going to have to demorph sometime. And Jake's like, not before you, dude. You've been in this morph for way longer than I... And
good point, Jake.
Like, oh, you're right. Thank you for reminding me. And he flies. And, like, I'm pretty sure they go... if it's not the exact site where they got their powers in the first place, it's, like, near
it's
that
the
site.
old
So it's,
construction
near that,
site.
like, abandoned mall area or whatever. And so they're there... He demorphs, he morphs into his lion, Jake morphs into his tiger, and they go at it, obviously alluding to their earlier weird comment that David was like, I wonder who would win, the lion or the tiger. And then it essentially ends with they like fall through the skylight into the mall. And Jake has been bit in
hard.
Some sort of major artery.
Like right on his shoulder near his neck. Yeah.
And he fades out of consciousness. And that is how the book ends and says to be continued.
Damn,
you
dude.
rat fucks. You son of a bitch.
Yeah. Right after I finished reading this on the train, I was like, fuck, I want to immediately start the next one. I want to start it now, but I got to wait for Gianni.
I can't believe they did this to me.
Oh, but what a great way to end it, though. Like, just him falling out of consciousness.
Dude.
So good. So exciting.
Yeah.
As far as changes, I think just make the hologram thing a little bit less convoluted. And, you know, I don't know if they should leave and come back quite so many times, because I think they leave and come back, what, like 3 times or something?
Yeah.
I don't think you need to do it that much. No, I think...
We didn't need all that. And especially, like, I think once we have whatever conclusion of this arc is, I think once we have that piece together, then we'll be able to, I think, more clearly delineate how many times they need to go back to the Marriott, how many times these interactions need to happen. But yeah, I think that those are, and the hologram thing, obviously, but I think those are really the only things I would change overarchingly about this book.
Yeah, I would love to keep the focus on David and his metamorphosis from little shit to even bigger shit to being a fucking psychopath in this book. I think that's the most interesting part about this book, is seeing him change and really embrace that scary side of, I can do whatever I want because I don't have anybody in my life and I feel powerless. And no one is going to make me feel like that again. Hi, Milo. Sorry, my cat is shaking his head.
I think it really helps to have this book to iron out the characterization of who David was supposed to be the last time we saw him. Because I just thought he was, like, just dumb. And it's clear he's not dumb. I think he's just genuinely, like, sociopathic. And obviously selfish and you know,
cowardly
out for himself. But I think, I think with this book in mind, so it also, I guess, makes me excited to read the next one, not just because of the obvious cliffhanger stuff, but it makes me excited to see what's going to happen with this David progression, so that the whole clarity of how that arc is supposed to kind of unfold can be introduced. I think if in the TV show idea of it all, the only other thing I think we would maybe do is, I think maybe we just throw in like a David, you know, even in the background of like earlier episodes in this season, you know, that just so that you kind of get the isolation of that character peripherally to, I think, better complement when he does come into the story full focus. 'Cause, I think that's like a cool idea to sort of bridge the gap between, oh, here's a random character who all of a sudden is like super important. I think that's kind of something I would at least visually allude to, if not outright have interactions with him.
Yeah, just somewhere in the background of like, oh, this is David, he's a new student, he just moved here. And then that fans of the book, that'll get those wheels turning of like, oh, that's David. When is he going to come up? You know, that arc has got to be getting here soon. So I think that would be very exciting for fans of the book and like a nice little nod. So it's not completely obvious of like, who's this? You know, suddenly important.
To your point about them not having to go to the Marriott so many times, though, I remember at some point, because I'd written this line down just because I thought it was funny, because there's no reason that it needs to be said apart from just informing the audience of something. But at some point when the Visser 3 like unveils his plan or whatever, and he's like, I've got you all, he goes, and this is his exact phrasing, he goes, by the way, the real banquet is tomorrow night.
Oh yeah I remember that.
And I was like, I wonder what we're gonna do tomorrow night. That's crazy. But that was fun.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Yeah. I remember that line sticking out to me also, and I was just like, oh my god, dude. You guys, I got you.
Do you think
pulled one over?
Do you think Tobias is dead?
Look, I can't tell you if he's dead or not, Gianni. I don't want to confirm that.
You know the answer.
I know the answer, but I can't confirm or deny whether or not he's dead. Do you think he's dead?
No, I don't think he's dead.
Why don't you think he's dead?
Jake's dead either.
Why don't you think Jake's dead? Wouldn't you be happy about that?
There's so many more books. I would be thrilled. I would be so excited.
Wait, okay.
If Jake dies on his best book, I would be like, yes! We did it!
What if What if Jake dies and David takes his place going forward, and now he's the head of the Animorphs?
That'd be awesome.
No, it wouldn't. We hate
Thrilling.
David.
Yeah, I know, but just imagine how hilariously bad of a leader David would be. It would be just
awful.
nothing but like it would be like I have a plan. We're gonna infiltrate the Yerks, and then the second the plan goes awry, I'd be like, never mind, we're gonna work for the Yerks.
Yeah.
And then the second they have a moment of freedom, he's like, we're going back. We're gonna kill the Yerks. I think it'd be hilarious.
Hell
There's another universe where that shit is hilarious. Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Should we look at the next book?
Yes. Is it The Solution?
The Solution, book 22. What do we got on the cover here, Gianni?
Come on, man.
What's wrong?
The stakes are so high. They get this on the cover? Really?
What, you never heard of Rat Girl Summer? We just had Rat Boy Summer. Why can't we have Rat Girl Summer?
Girl Summer. Oh my god.
Who's on the cover?
Yeah.
Who is that?
Oh my. It's Rachel.
Uh-huh.
I would presume.
Uh-huh.
And she's slowly hinging forward to turn into a rat.
A little white rat.
The third image when the legs
I was
start,
gonna
like,
say,
bending
look at the
back.
knees. Look at the knees.
but the hair is still there.
Yeah.
But the rat ear. Oh my god, it's awful.
Also, you can see.
Oh man, this is bad.
In that second morph, her foot is half disappeared. It's just gone into Z space, I guess. It's not really
Good
there.
Lord. Oh my god.
And I like that in the fourth
Jesus.
one, she's still wearing pants.
Yeah.
So
What are we doing with the clothing on these covers, man? Jesus Christ. Just so haunting.
I love this.
David Mattingly, you madman.
What is the tagline on the book there say?
I like this tagline. It's a mistake has been made. His name is David.
That's what his parents said.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ. Yeah,
That's a mistake.
has been made. Oh, man, that's
mistake.
terrible. Poor guy. No wonder he's so miserable.
I know. Let me give you the little... do you want to say what you think it's going to be about, or should I give the synopses?
Well, I mean, I would hope it's them, hunting down David, and stopping whatever this plan is at the Marriott. But
What if...
But I guess we'll see.
What if it's Rachel, and she's on her way to save Jake, and then we have somebody interfere halfway through?
What?
A little alien species that you absolutely love.
Oh no!
Called
Leave
the
Elemis
Elemis.
out of this, dude. Get a life, man. Either do something or don't. Why does he keep always kind of doing something?
Wait, what's wrong with the Elemis, Gianni?
Oh my god, it's just so convoluted. He's a get out of jail free card.
Actually, just kidding. He's not in this next book. I just wanted to make you mad.
Good. Good.
I just wanted to upset you.
No,
the synopsis.
you worked.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. So the synopsis says, David, the newest Animorph, is not what he appears. His need to control the other Animorphs and acts is all he thinks about, and the things he does are starting to break up the group. Rachel and the others know that time is running out. The newest battle against the Yerks is the most important one yet, and it's not one that will wait. Winning this fight could mean slowing down the invasion, but no one knows what to do with David, because the newest Animorph is more than just a little problem. He's deadly. ...
Yeesh.
So,
I hope that David proves to be kind of savvy. I hope he, before he killed Tobias, acquired him or something, and then is posing as Tobias or something.
Dude, that would be crazy.
That would be neat.
I don't remember if that actually happens or not, but I think Jake did tell Axe, "Hey, I think Tobias is dead. Let Rachel know."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but then he comes in posing as Tobias and is like, he got away, and I'm so injured. Oh, help me. I'm just
so
a
hurt.
bird.
I'm just a bird.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh, Rachel, my beak hurts. Can you kiss my beak for me? Ow.
Oh, Rachel. I love you.
Psych, I'm David. Ha!
That would be cool.
Hell yeah. So I'm very excited for this next book. I do know how long the David arc is, but I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But
I hope at least we conclude the Marriott journey in this one. If David lingers around,
that goes on for the rest
but...
of the series, Gianni. The rest of the series is just the Marriott.
The rest of the series is just the next day when the banquet actually finally happens.
Yes.
No,
it's like the show 24. It's just hour by hour.
Yeah, that would be fun. I would love that. That would be great.
Cool. So if you have any questions, concerns, comments, fun stories, stuff you want to talk about, if you love David, you can email us.
Yeah. If you think he unjustly won the Buddy Award for worst character, then you can email us.
Yeah, absolutely. You can email us at morphinbuddies@gmail.com. That's morphinbuddies@gmail.com. Because Gianni loves to spell.
Yes.
And you can just send us your thoughts and feelings, wishes, hopes, desires, fan fiction, whatever you want. Just keep it PG because Gianni has virgin ears. And he can't handle a whole lot.
I famously have never said a fucking curse word in my life.
Never ever. He's a pure boy. He's the purest of boys.
Pure bred.
That's right.
An American man.
American man. So thanks for listening to this episode, folks, and we will see you. Where will we see them next, Gianni? Where are we going to see their little ear holes?
I guess on the next episode.
Of Morphin Buddies. All right. Bye.